If you don't have any customers, then you don't have a business, you have a hobby. I remember my mentor telling me that a while back, and it really hit me hard because I was in the situation where I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I wanted to be a business owner, but I didn't have any customers. And at that point I was basically just a wantrepreneur. I was lying to myself. Now you might be in a similar situation that I was. Therefore, in this video, I will go over the 4 reasons that you can't get customers in your Skool community. And by the end of the video, you'll know exactly what to do in order to get people into your community and get results like the ones that you see on screen now. So reason number 1 is that there is no charismatic leader. So in order to have a really good community, you look at any good community in the world, whether that's an online community or an in-person community, every good community has a charismatic leader. Now, charisma can mean a lot of different things, but what I boil it down to is having confidence in everything that you say. So you're confident that you can help your customers reach their goal. You're confident that you're the one that they should be following and taking advice from. And in order to get confidence, you basically just outwork your self-doubt. You give yourself so much evidence that you can help them solve a problem that you no longer have any doubt in your mind. And that is when you become fully confident and charismatic as a leader of a community. Now, charisma is a skill, which is a nice thing because maybe at the moment you're not that charismatic. However, there's ways to build charisma. Like I said, it's a skill. And that means there's a lot of sub-skills that go into it. So for example, how well do you speak? How well do you persuade people? How well do you influence people? How attractive are you? Do you smile at people? How do you bring people in and become aware of you? All these different sub-skills make up the big skill of charisma. And the nice thing is that even if you're not very charismatic at the moment, which I wasn't when I first started making content, you can start to build it over time. It's a skill, therefore it can be learned. And as you practice and get better and iterate, you'll become more charismatic. And the more charismatic you become, the bigger the charismatic leader. What comes along with that is the bigger community with more followers and more people invested in your mission. Reason number 2 why your community isn't getting customers is because there's no shared goal or value. I had one guy who a couple of months came to me and said, my community isn't growing, my community doesn't have many members, why is this? And when I took a look at his community, he was in the self-improvement niche, so he was making content for guys probably under the age of 26, and he was just giving general self-improvement advice. And the advice wasn't bad, it wasn't, terrible advice, it was, to be healthier, to be happier, how to make more progress. But there was no shared goal or vision between the members. For example, one member wanted to get a girlfriend, and then another member wanted to make more money, another member wanted to learn how to do meditation, another member wanted to lose weight. And all these members had different goals, they had a different path that they wanted to follow, and it made it hard for him to build this strong, tight-knit community that could flourish because everyone was so scattered all over the place. And you might be doing the same thing. You might be making very broad content, or you might be doing something that doesn't appeal to one specific avatar or one specific potential customer. Instead, you've got someone who wants this goal, someone who wants this goal, and you're telling them that you can solve all of their problems, when in reality it would be much more beneficial for you to niche down first, solve one specific problem, help lots of people solve that specific problem, and then start to branch out into more problems. So for example, maybe you can niche down into helping people lose weight. And once you've helped a lot of people lose weight, then you can say, okay, now that you've lost weight, I'll help you attract more women. Because attracting women and losing weight are 2 completely different things, but in some ways they can be linked. But you need the first step of losing weight and becoming attractive before you're going to be able to attract women, right? So it's kind of, stepping stones along the way, but you've got to focus on one specific problem at a time rather than being this big, broad community where everyone is just scattered everywhere. Reason number 3 that your community isn't getting any members is because of the price points. Now what I mean here is high ticket versus low ticket, and depending on what type of content that you make, how many followers you have, who your target audience is, your price point might be letting you down. So for example, I'll give you one from my real life. I tried building a community in the self-improvement niche, and I was trying to sell to guys that were basically under 18 years old. Now, I positioned my product and my service at a price of $2,000-3,000. Now, a lot of guys that want to get better under 18, like, yes, they have ambition, but they don't have that much money, right? Unless their parents are rich, then they haven't had the potential to earn money yet. So what I could have done differently there was help maybe some older guys who are already established in their jobs, who have had time to accumulate wealth, and then target them as my higher ticket people and sell lower ticket to the guys who are under 18 who likely don't have that much money going for them. Like I said, unless they have rich parents, which is a lot rarer than just being a normal average under 18-year-old guy. Another example is that this guy came to me the other day and he said to me, I can't grow my school community. So I asked him what he was selling, and he was basically teaching people how to make money online. That was his product, that was his service. However, he was charging about $5,000 for his community, for his one-to-one coaching community. And you think to yourself, well, yes, maybe guys are making money online, but he was targeting people specifically how to make their first $10,000 online. And what that content is going to attract is guys who are broke, right? It's guys who don't have that much money. Because guys making $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month, they don't want to be making 10. They want to be making 50. They want to be making 100,000. So he could either pivot into selling to people who want to make it to 50, 100, 250,000 every single month, and then charge that higher price of $5,000 per month, or he could start to charge a lower price, maybe $1,000 or $500, and help people get to that $10,000 a month mark, because you need to play with the relative percentages. $500 compared to making $10,000 a month is pretty much the same percentage as, like $1,000 to making $20,000 a month, or $10,000 to making $200,000 a month. So you need to find out that ratio and then price your product and your services accordingly to your avatar and who you are solving a problem for. And reason number 4 is that you have poor call to actions. So I see this quite a lot with guys, and they have terrible call to actions in their video. Now, what a call to action is basically you telling someone to do something which sends them to either like a sales page or a newsletter or some sort of lead magnet. Now, if you want to see a full video that breaks down exactly how you can use call to actions in your video, along with other things that will put you in the top 1% of influencers in terms of income every single month, then I made a full video on it that you can click on the screen right now.